how culture helps shape perception, and perception shapes reality. So for a lot of us, we may grow up in environments and grow up in places where being from certain backgrounds is not celebrated. It's denigrated. And I hope that we're entering a place in society where we can start to celebrate these differences more and not make people feel shame or embarrassment simply because their family comes from a different place. Just because your family's from certain places doesn't mean you have to identify that way. Like I said earlier, I've met some great people even on this show where, for example, I met one woman where she grew up in like rural Mississippi, and she was black and white, but she didn't grow up with her dad's family, her black side of her family. So she didn't really identify with it. She looks visually like that, but she didn't identify with it because she didn't understand what that meant.
That's how my brother is.
Okay. So that's what I mean when I say, like, even when you say, like, okay, these are the parts that make up me, that doesn't mean I know that person embraces all of it, because they might not know. Like, I'm very connected with both sides of my family, so I'm rooted in both. But everybody didn't have that experience. So when I think about the kids, I'm like, it's good for us to start to answer some of those questions for ourselves now. So when they're older and they do have those questions, we have a better way of how to answer them. I like to ask you though, what do you think about just that as a concept? Because I know we're going pretty deep right now. How do you feel like you'll navigate that with your son?
I don't know, honestly. That always scared me, to be honest. Like, I don't know. A part of me kind of was glad he didn't look as black. Because I see my brothers go through it. Sure. Like at one point, my little brother, he didn't even want to take his clothes off at the beach and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This is just when I go back to my mom. I wish I had my mom.
Yeah.
And then his father, he's white. So he says he's not oblivious to it, but he so is.
Yeah.
So.
That's tricky.
I kind of want to go because I don't know my mom's family from California.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to go there and figure it out there.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to figure it out here, I feel like.
That's fair. And I really would encourage that too. I think, like, I don't know. I think that connection for us is usually pretty important, even if we're missing it, just to know. And then even that comment that you just mentioned, like, again, we got to be real here. We know that different people get treated differently. Like, we got to be honest. I've gone through my fair share, so I know. But my point in talking about that question, number one, is to try to understand even that comment, how culture helps shape perception, and perception shapes reality. So for a lot of us, we may grow up in environments and grow up in places where being from certain backgrounds is not celebrated. It's denigrated. To your point about being Mexican. For a lot of us, myself, maybe it was because I'm black. So you try to hide from it. You try to pretend it's not there. You try to downplay it. And I hope that we're entering a place in society where we can start to celebrate these differences more and not make people feel shame or embarrassment simply because their family comes from a different place.
And that's the thing. My mom was so good at that. I was never ashamed of anything, but I don't know how she did it. Like, I don't remember how she did it. That's why I wish I can ask her.
Yeah. Hey, well, I think some of it, I mean, you said all that happened when she was, you said 49? She had a long time to figure out who she was. That's probably why. Like, I feel extremely confident in myself, and I'm 13 years younger than her. So I could just imagine if I was 50, like, man, I'd be a beast out here. Because I would want people to feel comfortable and confident in who they are. You know, it's not about, to me, picking and pointing people against one another as like we're all enemies.
Yeah.
I think that's historically, you know, kind of how it's been. And I think that we're entering this beautiful place soon where diversity is being more appreciated and not simply cast to the side as if you're less than, for example, if you're not white, or you're treated as less than. And I think that those conversations that we can have with our children will help lead the change for that, right? Because if they understand the complexities and the nuance about people being from different backgrounds and not feeling any type of way towards them, that's going to encourage when they get older and their generation and when they have children, it's only going to get better. Because they're like, yeah, man, it's no big deal. What do y'all think about that?
I hope I'm alive when it happens.
You and me both. I probably won't be, but hopefully we'll see a significant change whenever my time comes. But I am always hopeful. I do think that if we put in the effort now, we can see results. I absolutely think that that's possible. But again, we have the privilege of raising young people that can be a part of that change. They don't have to know a lot of the things that we may know. They don't have to have those traumatic experiences that some of us have to go through that make us look within and not necessarily feel pride when we see ourselves. You know what I mean?